Most of us think about what we eat when we think about protecting our kidneys. The potassium in our meals, the sodium on our plates, the protein in our dinner. But there is something that happens quietly in the evening, something in the glass beside your armchair or on your bedside table, that very few people ever connect to their kidney health. And yet, for millions of people over 60, what they drink in the hours after, 6 in the evening, may be doing more to undermine their kidney function than almost anything else in their daily routine. Not dramatically, not with obvious pain or immediate symptoms, but slowly, night after night, in a way that only becomes visible when a blood test finally tells a story that took years to write. Well, I'm Dr. Naira Stein, Seniors Health and Wellness Consultant, and if you have ever wondered why your kidneys seem to be struggling despite your best efforts with diet and exercise, or if your numbers have been drifting in the wrong direction and nobody has sat down with you to truly explain why, stay with us. We are here to walk through this together with the kind of honesty, warmth, and clarity that this topic deserves. Because understanding what is happening inside your body in the evening hours is not about fear. It is about giving you real information that you can actually use, starting tonight. Before we get into the specific drinks that place the greatest strain on your kidneys after 6 in the evening, I want to make sure we share a foundation. Because this conversation will mean so much more once you understand what your kidneys are actually doing while you sleep, and why the hours between evening and morning are so critical to their health and to your own. Your kidneys do not sleep when you do. While the rest of your body shifts into rest and recovery mode during the night, your kidneys continue their work with remarkable consistency. They filter approximately half a cup of blood every single minute, even during your deepest sleep. Waste products produced by your body's overnight metabolic processes need to be cleared. Fluid balance needs to be maintained. Minerals need to be kept within their precise ranges. Blood pressure needs to be regulated through hormonal signals that originate in the kidney itself. The kidneys are, in a very real sense, the overnight custodians of your internal chemistry. But nighttime is also when the kidneys do something even more important for people navigating kidney disease or reduced kidney function. It is when they attempt their most concentrated repair work. Blood flow patterns shift during sleep. Inflammatory processes that were driven higher by daytime stress and activity begin to quiet. The hormonal environment of the sleeping body favors tissue maintenance over tissue demand. And for the nephrons, those 1 million delicate filtering units inside each kidney, the nighttime hours represent one of the few opportunities your body has to stabilize and protect what remains of their function. Here is where the drinks come in. Because everything you consume in the hours before sleep, everything that enters your bloodstream in the late afternoon and evening, is circulating through those kidneys while they are trying to do their most important work of the day. If what you're drinking places additional strain on the kidneys during those hours, whether through dehydration, through a surge of substances they must filter and process, through a disruption of blood pressure, or through interference with the sleep itself that makes nighttime repair possible, you are essentially asking your kidneys to sweep the floor while someone keeps tracking mud through the door. And over time, that pattern accumulates into something your lab results will eventually reflect. The first drink that deserves your full attention in this conversation is alcohol. And I want to speak about this with the nuance it requires, rather than simply delivering a prohibition. Many people over 60 enjoy a glass of wine with dinner, a beer in the evening, or a small measure of something warming before bed. These are social traditions, comfort rituals, and pleasures that carry emotional weight far beyond their biological effects. I understand that. But the biology of what alcohol does inside a kidney patient's body in the evening hours, specifically, is something that every person navigating kidney health genuinely deserves to understand clearly. Alcohol is a direct diuretic, When you consume it, your body suppresses a hormone called antidiuretic hormone, or ADH, which is the chemical signal that tells your kidneys to retain water rather than excrete it. When ADH is suppressed, your kidneys produce more urine than they otherwise would, drawing fluid from your tissues and your bloodstream in the process. The result is progressive dehydration, and for the kidney, dehydration is not a minor inconvenience. When the blood flowing through the kidney becomes more concentrated due to reduced fluid volume, the kidney's filtering structures are placed under significantly greater strain. Waste products become more concentrated in the filtrate. The risk of crystal formation, which can damage tubular tissue and in susceptible people contribute to stone formation, increases, and the overall efficiency of the filtration process declines. But the effects of evening alcohol on kidney health extend considerably further than simple dehydration. Alcohol elevates blood pressure, both acutely as it is metabolized, and chronically in people who drink regularly over years. High blood pressure is, alongside diabetes, the leading cause of chronic kidney disease globally. The tiny blood vessels inside the kidney, the capillaries that supply each nephron with the blood they need to filter, are exquisitely sensitive to sustained elevated pressure. When alcohol repeatedly drives that pressure upward in the evening hours, those vessels absorb a nightly stress that compounds across months and years into measurable structural damage. Additionally, alcohol generates byproducts during its metabolism that the kidneys must filter and excrete, adding a chemical burden on top of the mechanical burden of dehydration and elevated pressure. For someone whose kidneys are already working with reduced reserve, that triple burden arriving precisely during the hours when the kidney most needs a low-stress environment to attempt repair is a significant mismatch between what you're giving your kidneys and what they need from you. The second category of evening drink, and the one that surprises people most consistently in my experience, is caffeinated beverages consumed in the hours after 6 in the evening. Coffee, certain teas, energy drinks, and many carbonated soft drinks all contain caffeine at levels high enough to affect kidney function. The diuretic effect of caffeine is well established. Like alcohol, caffeine promotes increased urine production, contributing to a state of relative dehydration that concentrates the blood flowing through the kidney and increases the workload on its filtering structures. But for kidney health specifically, the more significant problem with evening caffeine is not what it does directly to the kidneys. It is what it does to sleep. Caffeine has a half-life in the human body of approximately 5 to 7 hours in most adults, though this half-life extends considerably with age as the liver's metabolism slows. This means that a cup of coffee consumed at 4 in the afternoon may still have half its caffeine load circulating in your system at 9 or 10 at night. An evening coffee after dinner may still be meaningfully affecting your neurological state well past midnight. And the significance of this for kidney health is profound. Because the nighttime repair window we discussed, the period when blood pressure naturally drops, when inflammatory signaling quiets, when the kidney's cellular maintenance processes operate most effectively, depends entirely on quality sleep. When caffeine disrupts that sleep, whether by delaying its onset, reducing its depth, or fragmenting it with more frequent waking, it steals from the kidney the very resource it needs most. Every night of poor sleep is a night of missed repair. And when those nights accumulate into weeks and months of consistently fragmented or shallow sleep, the kidney's ability to maintain its remaining function under the ongoing challenges of disease or aging is genuinely compromised. There is also a more direct cardiovascular link worth understanding. Caffeine stimulates the release of stress hormones, including adrenaline and cortisol. In the evening, when the body's natural hormonal rhythm is designed to shift toward lower cortisol and the gradual rise of melatonin that prepares for sleep, a dose of caffeine disrupts that transition. Cortisol constricts blood vessels. It elevates blood pressure. places the cardiovascular system, including the delicate microvascular network inside the kidney, under a stress response at precisely the time when those systems should be winding down toward their lowest daily burden. For a kidney that has been working hard all day and needs the evening to begin its recovery, this hormonal disruption is another form of the mud through the door problem. The door is never quite clean. The floor never quite gets swept. The third drink category, and one of the most underappreciated hazards in the evening diet of older adults, is dark-colored carbonated sodas. Cola-type beverages in particular carry a concern for kidney health that goes beyond their sugar content and caffeine load, though both of those are genuinely problematic in their own right. The specific additional hazard is phosphoric acid, the compound responsible for the characteristic sharp, slightly tangy flavor that distinguishes cola-style drinks from other carbonated beverages. Phosphoric acid is a source of dietary phosphorus, and phosphorus management is one of the most clinically significant challenges in kidney disease management. Healthy kidneys filter excess dietary phosphorus efficiently and excrete it in the urine, keeping blood phosphorus levels within a narrow and safe range. But as kidney function declines, this filtering efficiency is reduced, and phosphorus can accumulate in the bloodstream. Elevated blood phosphorus sets off a cascade of biological responses. The body draws calcium from the bones in an attempt to balance the mineral ratio, weakening bone tissue over time. Abnormal calcium-phosphorus deposits can form in blood vessels and soft tissues, contributing to vascular stiffening and cardiovascular risk. And the kidneys themselves, already compromised, face additional stress from the metabolic disruption of persistent phosphate imbalance. The phosphoric acid in a can of cola delivers a concentrated phosphorus load in a form that the body absorbs with particular efficiency. Consuming that load in the evening, when the kidneys are preparing for their nighttime maintenance mode rather than ramping up for peak filtration, means that phosphorus load sits in the bloodstream at elevated levels through much of the night. For someone with already reduced kidney function, this nightly pattern is an avoidable burden that many people carry for years without ever realizing its connection to their declining lab values. Beyond the phosphoric acid, the sugar content of regular sodas creates its own kidney burden. High sugar intake drives blood glucose elevation, which in turn promotes oxidative stress in the kidney's filtering structures and contributes to the microvascular damage that underlies diabetic kidney disease. Even in people without diagnosed diabetes, regular consumption of high-sugar beverages creates a metabolic environment that is unfavorable for kidney health. And for people choosing artificially sweetened sodas as a supposedly safer alternative, the research picture is more complicated than the marketing suggests. Several large population studies have found associations between regular consumption of artificially sweetened beverages and accelerated decline in kidney function, though the precise mechanisms remain under active investigation. The reasonable and evidence-consistent approach is to treat diet sodas not as a safe substitute, but as a beverage to minimize rather than rely on. The fourth drink deserves a more nuanced conversation because it involves something that most people associate exclusively with health benefits: protein shakes and high-protein supplement drinks consumed in the evening. In the world of fitness and aging, high-protein supplementation has been widely promoted as a strategy for maintaining muscle mass, which is a genuinely important goal for older adults. And there is legitimate science behind the value of adequate protein intake for muscle preservation. The nuance, critically important for anyone with kidney disease or reduced kidney function, lies in how the kidney handles protein metabolism. When your body metabolizes protein, whether from food or from a supplement drink, it produces nitrogen-containing waste products, the most significant of which is urea. These waste products must be filtered from the blood by the kidneys and excreted in the urine. The higher the protein intake, the greater the urea load the kidneys must handle. In a young person with fully functioning kidneys and complete filtration capacity, this additional load is processed efficiently. But in someone with chronic kidney disease or reduced kidney reserve, the additional nitrogen burden from a high-protein supplement consumed in the evening places exactly the kind of demand on the kidneys that they least need during the nighttime hours, when repair and maintenance should be taking precedence over high-volume filtration. Research has consistently shown that modest protein restriction in people with chronic kidney disease slows the rate of nephron loss and helps preserve remaining function over time. The specific timing of a large protein supplement drink in the evening concentrates that filtration demand precisely during the hours when the kidney is trying to do its most protective work. This does not mean protein is dangerous for kidney patients or that muscle preservation doesn't matter. It means that the amount, the source, and the timing of protein intake should be carefully individualized based on current kidney function and guided by a renal dietitian who can interpret specific lab values. A concentrated protein supplement drink consumed late in the evening is a particularly unfavorable pattern for kidney health, and many people taking these supplements for legitimate muscle health reasons have never been told that their timing and quantity may be working against their kidneys. So what does a kidney-supportive evening drinking routine actually look like in practice? Because the conversation cannot end at restriction. Understanding what to move away from only serves you fully when it is paired with understanding what to move toward. Water remains the foundation, but its timing matters more than most people realize. Drinking adequate water throughout the day consistently supports kidney function by ensuring that the blood flowing through the nephrons remains at a hydration level that makes filtration efficient. Dehydration forces the kidneys to concentrate urine, increasing the crystalline burden and the stress on tubular tissue. But drinking large amounts of water in the late evening, specifically for people with reduced kidney function, is not always advisable. When the kidneys cannot regulate fluid balance as efficiently as they once could, excessive fluid intake in the hours before sleep can contribute to fluid retention and elevated blood pressure through the night. The right hydration strategy for someone with kidney disease is one calibrated to their specific kidney function and determined in consultation with their physician. A general principle for most people with moderate kidney disease is to distribute fluid intake across the earlier part of the day and taper off somewhat in the 2 to 3 hours before sleep, rather than consuming large volumes late at night. Herbal teas warrant mention here because they are widely consumed in the evening as a soothing and seemingly health-conscious alternative to caffeinated beverages. Many herbal teas are genuinely kidney-friendly and can be a warm, comforting part of an evening routine. Chamomile tea has mild anti-inflammatory properties and may support sleep quality, both of which benefit kidney health indirectly. Dandelion tea, often promoted as a kidney cleanser, acts as a natural diuretic and should be treated with caution by anyone managing kidney disease, since it can affect potassium levels and fluid balance in ways that need medical supervision. Teas containing high levels of oxalic acid, including certain green teas consumed in large quantities, may contribute to kidney stone risk in susceptible individuals. The broad message is that not all herbal teas are equivalent in their kidney implications, and choosing well-understood options like chamomile or rooibos, without added sugars or flavorings, is a safer and genuinely pleasant approach to evening hydration. Monitoring matters enormously in all of this. The effects of evening drinking habits on kidney health are not immediately visible or physically felt. They accumulate in lab results over months. This is why regular blood and urine testing, tracking eGFR, creatinine, phosphorus, and blood pressure alongside kidney function markers, is one of the most powerful tools available to anyone navigating kidney health. When you understand your own numbers and how they are trending, you can connect the choices you are making in the evening hours to the biological feedback your kidneys are giving you through those tests. That connection between daily habit and measurable outcome is one of the most motivating and empowering things a person with kidney disease can develop. Speak with your physician about your specific kidney function numbers before making significant changes to your fluid or supplement intake, especially if you currently take blood pressure medications, diuretics, or any medications that affect kidney function. Individual responses vary, and what is appropriate for someone at stage 2 kidney disease may need adjustment for someone at stage 3 or 4. A renal dietitian, where available, can translate your lab values into personalized and specific evening nutrition and hydration guidance that goes far beyond what any general script can offer. What I want you to take from everything we have discussed today is not anxiety about your evening routine. It is awareness. Clear, grounded, practical awareness about what your kidneys are doing in the hours after 6, what they need from that time, and which habits are asking too much of them during their most important window of the day. Alcohol, caffeinated beverages, dark sodas, and high-protein supplement drinks each represent a form of burden that arrives precisely when the kidney is trying to rest, repair, and maintain the function that remains. Understanding that is not frightening, it is clarifying, and clarity is the beginning of every good decision you will make for your health from this point forward. Your kidneys have been filtering, balancing, and protecting you every moment of every night of your life. They have never asked for recognition or gratitude. They have simply done the work, quietly, faithfully, and without complaint, even as their capacity has gradually changed with the years. The least we can offer them in return is a little thoughtfulness about what we send their way in the hours they most need our support. A different choice in the evening, made consistently over days and weeks and months, is not a small thing. It is a compounding act of care for organs that have spent a lifetime caring for you. And every good evening you give your kidneys is one more night they have to do the quiet, essential work of keeping you well. We will continue to be here with you with more conversations, more clarity, and more of the kind of honest, warm guidance that helps you understand your body and navigate your health with confidence rather than fear. Because you deserve to understand what is happening inside you, and understanding, always, is the most powerful medicine of all.